This video answers the question, how do we solve one-step equations? Make sure to put your name and date in the upper right corner. And now we're going to answer the question, how do we solve one-step equations? This will help us in solving two-step equations in a few days. Here are several examples of one-step equations. The first one shows the variable being multiplied by 4. In this equation, the variable's on the right side and it's added to negative 52. In the third equation, x is being divided by 12.5. In the fourth example, you have the variable y being subtracted by 3/10. So our goal is to find the missing number, which is also known as a solution, that makes both sides balanced. And if it's balanced, we say both sides are equal. Now, the goal can be restated as just saying, hey, we need to figure out what the variable equals. Think of an equation as a balance or a seesaw, where the left side is equal to the right side. So you have the left side equal to the right side. Can't state that enough times. There's two sides to an equation, a left side and a right side, and they're both equal. So what the variable equals is called the solution. So we ask the question, how do we figure out what the variable equals? And the answer is, we need to isolate the variable. In other words, isolate means to get the variable by itself. This is what we call solving an equation. So to solve an equation, start by asking which side is the variable on and what is being done to the variable. Second thing is you want to think about isolating the variable by using inverse operations on both sides. Now, inverse operations cancel each other out, and addition and subtraction are inverse operations, and so are multiplication and division. So the last thing you want to do is make sure to check the solution, and that means substitute for the variable in the original equation and make sure both sides will be equal to each other. This is key because this is where you can actually figure out if you made a mistake or not. Now go ahead and give your note sheet a hot dog fold, and we'll be on the back side here. We're going to put examples on both sides here. Starting on the left, let's put the equation 47 equals c plus 193. So you look where the variable is. It's on the right-hand side. You want to get the variable by itself, so you need the inverse operation. And the inverse of adding 193 is going to be to subtract 193. So make sure you do that to both sides to keep the equation balanced. So here's where I encourage you. Go ahead and use your calculator. And you know you want to take 47 and subtract 193. So tap that in and see what you get. And place that number underneath. So that'd be negative 146. Now on the right side, the inverse operations cancel out, so c is by itself. So we think this is a solution. So now you do the check step. So go back to the original equation, which starts with 47 equals. Now instead of c, substitute in the negative 146. Add it to 193, and go ahead and tap that in your calculator, negative 146 plus 193, and you notice you will get 47. So what you just proved with both sides will be equal, and therefore the missing number that equals c is negative 196. That's the solution, so circle it. So the next example, we'll put underneath the first example, we have the variable p. We're going to subtract 2, and it's supposed to equal negative 84. So how do you get p by itself? You use the inverse operation of subtracting 2, and that's adding 2. So you add 2 to both sides. You get p by itself on the left side, and you end up with negative 82 on the right side. So let's check to make sure that works. So you substitute in negative 82 for p in the original problem. Subtract 2. It should equal negative 84. So you can do your subtracting 2 by adding the opposite of 2 which ends up being a negative 84, which proves the solution is P equals negative 82. So let's flip the paper to the right side. Let's just do one more example equation. Instead of 4, we'll just do 3 examples. So let's do negative 11 is equal to some number, we'll call it R, minus 20. So the variable's on the right side. It's subtracted by 20, so we're going to need to use the inverse operation of adding 20. Add 20 to both sides. When you add it to the left side, you end up with a positive 9. On the right side, you get R by itself. Then you do your check step by substituting in the 9 where the R is in the original equation. And then 9 minus 20 is negative 11, which balances both sides. So the solution is 9 equals R.